Yes, boy.
Well, it's all right. That's too much on the high seas.
Right.
Louis!
It's that parrot has been squeaking in my ears.
Right, everyone be quiet. I want to announce the start. You're such a motley crew. Behave yourselves. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, an assembled company, whether you're on sea or on land, welcome to the World Storytelling Cafe. And it's Friday night, and this Friday we are overrun by pirates. And I'm getting out of the way because I'm a landlubber and I don't want to get shanghaied or any of that stuff or press ganged onto a boat. And when I go on a boat, I want it to be my choice, right? So, without any further ado, I'm handing over to our three pirates, and I believe, but I cannot be sure, because he got a cutlass in his ear, so he can't hear us properly. I think Captain Shade is first. So over to you.
Good evening, me hearties, and how are you doing? And a big kiss to you there, little girl. Us pirates can blow kisses sometimes, I'll have you know. Well, I have a little story for you about a little boy. But I'm going to take me hat off because this is a story about a little boy who lived along the coast with his mother, and his name was Jack. And this was a time long, long, long ago when all the ships had those big sails. That's all they had. And he liked nothing more than to look out the window of his little cottage and watch all the sailing boats going past. And he wondered the different parts of the world that they were going to, perhaps India, perhaps the Caribbean, or perhaps down to Cornwall. But they were taking stuff with them anyway. Well, he liked nothing more than, as I say, to just watch these ships go past and play on the shore and on the beach. Well, times were hard and they were going through a very tough time, and there was almost nothing left in the house to eat. And Jack's mother said, Jack, you're going to have to go down to the cabbage field, because the sea, it comes in and there's a river, like what we call a creek. She said, you're going to have to go in your rowing boat down the creek inland a bit to the field where the farmer grows his cabbages, and get a nice cabbage for us and bring it back, and I'll make some cabbage soup. Oh, yes, Mum, said Jack. I'll do that right now. So off he went, and he went down to the creek, to the river that came off the sea, and he undid his boat. He got into his rowing boat and he began to row, and he sang a song to himself, and you might know this song. Please join if you do. It went a bit like this. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. And he was at the cabbage patch field. He got out of his boat, he tied it up. He went to the cabbage field and he looked, and well, there'd been lots of hot days, a bit like what we've had just recently, and all the cabbages had all wilted and shrunk, and they were yellow and they're gone mouldy, and there wasn't a good cabbage for him to pick at all. And he thought, oh no, there's no cabbages. I'll have to go back home and see what Mother says. So he got back into his boat, he untied it, he picked up the oars. Can you pick up your oars? Imagine you're going to row this boat. And he started to row, and he sang his song again. Join in. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. And he was back at the cottage, and he tied the boat up. He walked up the steps to the cottage, and he went in and he said, Mother. And she said, how did you get on, Jack? He said, the sun's been so hot, all the cabbages have all shrunk, and they're all just horrible. They're all yellow, and yeah, there's no good cabbages there at all. And I don't know what to do, Mother. Oh, Jack, she said, there is a place much further inland. You'll have to row a lot more. She said, much further inland, there's a place where berries grow. you could pick some berries and I could make a pie from the berries tonight. I've got a little bit of flour and some water, maybe an egg and a pinch of salt, a pinch of sugar. She said, I've got enough. We can make, if you can find some berries for me, Jack, take these 2 baskets. And she gave Jack 2 wicker baskets. Thank you, mother, he said. I'll do my best. And off he went, and he put them in his boat. He got in, he untied it, got in his boat, he picked up his oars. And you know what song we're going to sing? Because as he rowed, I need you to row with me. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. But it's much further to get to this field, so we sing it again. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. And he arrived, and he tied up his boat. He got out with his 2 baskets, and he went out into that field, and he saw a bush with some berries on it. And he thought, oh, let's have a look at those. And he went and he picked one of those berries and he put it in his mouth and, oh, it's a bit tart. It's a bit sour, he thought, but mother's got some sugar. She'll sweeten it with some sugar. I'll pick those. And he picked, and there was just enough to fill one of his baskets. And he thought, oh, I've got 2 baskets here. I need to get some more. And he looked about the field. And then he saw another bush in the distance with some beautiful bright red berries on. And he knew they were ones that you could eat, because you can't just eat any berry, children. You have to know your berries. And he knew his berries. Mum had taught him well. And he went across and he picked one of the berries and he ate. Oh, it was so sweet and juicy. And the dribbles went down his chin, not down his beard. He was only a boy. He didn't have a beard like me, but it went down his chin, and he wiped it off and he ate another sweet berry. Mother will love these, he thought. And he picked and he filled his other basket with sweet berries. And he had a basket full of sour berries and a basket full of sweet berries. And he thought, oh, that's enough. And he went back to his boat, and he was walking along the track, along the river, and he could see his boat in the distance. But what Jack didn't realize, there was someone coming up the track behind him. And it were a pirate. And he got up close to that Jack, and he said, here, you little man, little boy, what you got there? And Jack went, oh, I've just got some berries for my mother. Well, give me a taste of your berries. Give me a taste of them right now. Otherwise, I'll make you walk the plank and feed you to the sharks. And Jack said, well, but I've got them for mother. We haven't got much food, and it's to make a pie. I don't care, said the pirate. I'm a mean pirate, and I want to taste your berries. Now, give me a taste of your berries. Well, Jack thought, I'll give him the sour ones. So he put the basket forward, and the pirate picked one of those berries up, and he, wah, ha, pooh, that's disgusting. It's so bitter and horrible. What you got hiding behind your back there, Jack? Jack went, nothing. I haven't got anything. Yes, you have. What have you got behind your back? And Jack said, oh, it's another basket of berries, and they're for my mum. Well, give them here. Oh, but they're for my mum, said Jack. I said give them here right now, otherwise I'll make you walk the plank, my lad. And Jack reluctantly put the sweet berries in front of him, and the pirate picked one out. Oh, they're delicious. Give me another one. And he ate another one. Oh, they're absolutely delicious. Give me another one. And Jack, he began to cry. He said, you're eating all my berries. They're for my mum. She was going to make a pie tonight, and you're pinching all of my berries. And they're for my mummy. And well, the pirate, he started to cry. Oh, don't cry, lad. You're making me feel right sad now. You see, once upon a time, I was a lad just like you. And I was kind and nice. And I got press ganged onto a boat. And I had to become a pirate. But I'm not mean, really. And you've picked those berries for your mum. You take them, boy. You take them home to your mother. And Jack picked up the berries and he walked off and he got into his boat. He untied his boat and he got back into his boat and he began to row. Can you row with me? And he sang a different song. It went a bit like this. Sweet berries for mother, sour berries for me. Mother shall mix them together and we'll have a pie for tea. Sweet berries for mother, sour berries for me. Mother shall mix them together and we'll have a pie for tea. And he was back outside his cottage. He tied up his boat, he picked up his 2 baskets of berries and he walked to the house. And mother was there. She had her mixing bowl out ready and the flour and the water and what have we. And she said, oh, Jack, you've got a nice lot of berries there. She said, let's mix them up, the sweet and the bitter berries. I've got lots of sugar. And she put lots of sugar on and she put a lid on that pie and it went into the oven for about half an hour, gas mark 5, I believe. And when it was ready, she took it out and she'd made a jug of custard. She cut a big piece for Jack. She cut a big piece for herself. Where's my piece? Oh, no, sorry, I wasn't in the story. Sorry, I'm just telling you the story. I was waiting for my piece of pie there. She cut a big piece for Jack and a big piece for herself. And they poured that custard on and they sat and they ate that berry pie and it was absolutely delicious. But that's not the end of the story. Oh, no. That evening, mother sat by the fire with Jack and told him some stories. Then it was his bedtime and he went to bed. Morning came. The cockerel crowed. The sun came up just above the sea. You know, when the sun blinks on the edge of the sea, the sun came up. Jack woke up and he thought, oh, I'm going to go down the beach and see what I can find, because he loved to beachcomb. And he went out the front door. And as he did, he noticed, oh, there was a sack outside by the front door. And he thought, well, that wasn't there last night. Oh, I wonder where it's come from. And he noticed on the sack there was a note. So he picked the note up and he unfolded the note. And it said, Dear Jack, sorry I scared you yesterday. I didn't mean to be mean to you. There's something special for you in the sack, for you and your mother. Love, Pirate Pete. And Jack, well, he looked in the sack and it was full of gold. And well, Jack and his mother, they were rich for the rest of their life. And as far as I know, they had a pie for tea every single night. And that's the story of Jack, the berries and the pirate. Thank you.
Arg.
I don't know if we've lost John. I can't see him.
But, someone said, I love the story. Thank you, Jesnama. Thank you.
Hello.
Bubba's having a fantastic Friday. Louis said hello to Bubba. He knew them very well. I like it, Bubba. He did know them very well indeed. Oh, we've lost John.
It looks like we've lost John. It looks perhaps John's lost his connection. He's at a service station on the motorway or somewhere, I think.
But John's like a good penny. He'll pop back up.
Let's hope he does. Let's hope he does. Well,
Hey, Shane, your story
Captain
was
Shane, I should
spectacular.
say, thank you very much for that lovely story. I just about held it together. I managed not to cry, but he was a good pirate in the end, wasn't he? So now, everybody, we've got stories from Captain Mike. Let's all welcome Captain Mike.
Ahoy there!
Arr.
Wasn't that a good story from Captain Shane? Now you've got a story or two, or even maybe a song. I liked Shane's song. Maybe a song from me. What do we think? That'd be good? All right then. Here's a joke. It's not my fault. Why do pirates struggle learning the alphabet? No one? Because they spend so long stuck at sea. Like the ladder, you know, anyway. Well, I've got a story about a pirate. He's not as nice as Shane's, but perhaps he'll come round. Now, there was a little girl and she lived with her granny. She's never mum and dad. She lived with her granny. And like Jack's and his mum, they were very poor. And they had a little bit of garden where they tried to grow a bit of food. Why am I talking like a pirate? They had a little bit of garden where they tried to grow some food. And they had a little nanny goat. And the little nanny goat, still looked like the little nanny goat used to give them a little bit of milk so that they could supplement their dinner. And then one day, Nanny, the grandmother Nanny, not the goat Nanny, the grandmother Nanny said, look, little girlie, you take our little goat out and see if she can eat some grass along the lane because she's going to destroy our garden. So she took the goat out and he was walking along the side of the lane. She was walking along the side of the lane, eating some grass. Suddenly there was this awful noise. And they went round the corner and the little goat was nudging a man who was lying on the ground with a hat over his face. And the little goat went too close. That's a hat like that and like that. And the goat went too close and he woke him up and he jerked out. What is going on here? What are you doing? And the little girl said, I'm so sorry. It's my nanny goat. She's just trying to eat the grass and you were lying there asleep. And, the man stank. He stank of, I don't know what it was, not washing and too much booze, too much rum. And he smelled. And he wasn't in a good temper because he'd been woken up from his drunken stupor. He said, that goat? Oh no, and he reached into his sash and he pulled out a gun. He said, I'm going to shoot that goat. Fortunately, he was too drunk to aim properly. It went quite close to the goat and he stuck it back in his pocket. And the poor goat, you can imagine, the goat ran away. And he said to the little girl, you clear off and all. He wasn't a nice man. So the little girl shot off after her goat and then she saw her goat had gone into Little Men's Wood. That's where the fairies live. And she came along and there was her goat in the wood. But he wasn't eating grass. He was eating strawberries. The Little Men's Wood was full of strawberries. And the goat was eating them. And they were the fairy strawberries. The little girl was very polite. She said, I'm so sorry about my goat coming and eating your strawberries. I'll take her away. And then she looked at the strawberries and they looked delicious. They looked better than the berries in Shane's field. She said, would it be all right? We haven't got a lot of food. Would it be all right if I just took a few of the strawberries in my apron and took them back for me and Granny? And the little men said, take all you like. So she took a few, and she took a few, and she took just a few. She didn't take many, just a few. And she said, that's plenty, thank you very much. And she left the woods and went back to Granny. Now, what she didn't know, but it was a good job she was polite, was the Little Men's strawberries got magic on them. If you didn't say thank you, you couldn't stop eating them. You'd keep eating and eating and eating and eating until you got fatter than me. Really bad. Like what Shane was doing. And so she got home with these strawberries and she showed them to her Granny and they put them into some bowls and they had the goat to give them some milk that they could make a bit of cream to go on the strawberries. But then who should turn up but the pirate? Where'd you get them strawberries? And the little girl said, they came from the Little Men's Woods. He said, well, you better give them to me. And they said, why? And he said, well, I'm a pirate and I'm pillaging your strawberries. Well, they thought better and gave him the strawberries and he started eating them. And he couldn't stop. He ate the whole bowl that was meant for 2 people. He ate them all. He said, where can I get more? He said, well, in the Little Men's Woods. And he stormed off to Little Men's Woods And he went in, he didn't say please or anything. And he started eating these strawberries. 2 days later, he was still eating strawberries. It's so uncomfortable. And in the end, he popped open. He burst open and all strawberries and guts were everywhere. And the next morning, when the little girl and her nanny looked outside their house, they had a bag of gold that the little man had got them from the burst up pirate. Oh no! At least they had a bag of gold, so they were as rich as Jack and his mummy. Could we bear a song? What do you think, Cath? Okay then. Here it goes. And all the children will know this as well. And don't unmute necessarily, but all do join in. It's when I was one, I took my gun the day I went to sea. I jumped aboard the pirate ship and the captain said to me, we're going larboard, starboard, forward and aft over the Irish Sea. A bottle of rum to fill my that's the life for me. When I was 2, I wore my shoe the day I went to sea. I jumped aboard the pirate ship and the captain said to me, we're going larboard and starboard, forward and aft over the Irish Sea. A bottle of rum to fill my tum and that's the life for me. Oh-ar! When I was 3, I scraped my knee the day I went to sea. I limped aboard the pirate ship and the captain said to me, get over it. We're going larboard and starboard, forward and aft over the Irish Sea. A bottle of rum to fill my tum and that's the life for me. Oh, how old am I now? When I was 4, I slammed the door the day I went to sea. I jumped aboard the pirate ship and the captain says to me, we're going larboard and starboard, forward and aft over the Irish Sea. A bottle of rum to fill my tum and that's the life for me. Oh, when I was 5, I learned to dive the day I went to sea. I jumped aboard the pirate ship and the captain said to me, we're going larboard and starboard, forward and aft over the Irish Sea. A bottle of rum to fill my tum, and that's the life for me. Oh, should we do that chorus one more time? Then you can all join in loud. Unmute if you like. A bottle of rum to fill my tum, and that's the life for me.
Oh,
gosh, I'm full up now. How are we doing? Have I got to do another one, Cath, or shall I chuck it across to you?
Yeah.
Another one. Okay. This is one I told before, and Louis really loved it. So I thought we should do it again, despite everyone else. No one else matters really for this one. Okay. Once upon a time, Jack's mum got enough bits and pieces together and she baked a big tray of gingerbread men. She cooked them, she took them out, she set them out to cool, then she decorated them. And as she was decorating the last one, the first one jumped off the tray and ran away. He ran into the garden. She ran after him saying, stop, stop. But he didn't stop. He kept running. And what did he say? Who's hands up, someone who can tell me what he said? Louis, go on.
Run, run. Oh, so God, oh God. Oh,
Yeah, that's it. He said, run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. And he ran down the road. He ran past a cow. Now, last time we did this, I asked John Rowe what the cow said, and he got it wrong. So let's ask someone. Dominic's iPad. What did the cow say? You have to unmute to tell me. Oh, failure there. Yes, no, mate, you can help me. What did the cow say?
Maybe I can eat you?
Oh, what a strange thing for a cow to say. Could be, but the cow actually said, which meant, stop, stop. Maybe I can eat you. And the gingerbread man called out, Shane, what did the gingerbread man call out?
Is there any custard for tea?
No, he didn't.
Oh,
I had hoped he'd pay better attention. The gingerbread man called out.
You can't stop me in my gingerbread man.
That's it. That's right. And he was right away. He was right. The cow couldn't catch him. And he ran past a dog. Now, we have a hand up. Go on then, Louis. What did the dog say?
Meowie.
Are you sure that's what the dog said? Was he doing impressions? Oh, no. What did he say, really? No. What he actually said, of course, was woof, woof.
Run.
Scared me. And that meant stop. Gingerbread man called out. What did he call out, Bubba C?
Run, fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man.
He did say that, but he didn't have pebbles in his mouth, so he said it properly.
I'm an American, sue me.
No, I know you guys are litigiously there. So he kept running, and he ran past a horse. Now, we all know horses run really fast. Do you think a gingerbread man can run faster than a horse? You wouldn't think so, would you? And of course, the horse said something. What did the horse say, Kanisha?
I don't know.
What do you think a horse would say?
Is a horse a naysayer?
Kind of is. And Shane gave you a clue there. What the horse said was like that, because he was a horse, which meant stop. And the gingerbread man kept running, and he called out. What did he call? I can't read your name, Mr. Courtney. What did he call?
Run as fast as you can.
You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. And so he kept running. And eventually he ran into the woods, and there was a fox. Now, I don't know what foxes really say, but this one in the story, he said, "Hello, gingerbread man fella. Why don't you come back to my place for some lunch?" And the gingerbread man looked at him and he called. Who wants to say what the gingerbread man said? Go on then, Jasna, my.
Run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man.
Exactly that, he said. Run as fast as you can. You can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man. And he ran away from the fox, and the fox didn't chase him. The fox just got up, straightened himself up, and strolled along casually behind him. And the gingerbread man ran round the corner of the path, and then he was stuck at the riverbank. He couldn't go any further. And the fox just casually walked in and said, Oh no, you poor old thing, you've got nowhere to go. Perhaps you'd better come back with me for lunch. And the gingerbread man said, I don't know what to do now. But just then there was a sound of some people going, row, row, row your boat. And round the corner came, I don't know, Patch Peg and a couple of men rowing. And Patch was, that's it. Patch was sitting in the back of the boat while these guys did all the rowing, because he was like an officer. He didn't have to row. And he had a box of treasure on his lap. I won't bother getting the treasure. Trust me, he had a box of treasure. And he saw what was going on. And he pulled his pistol out and he said, Mr. Fox, I think you'd better go somewhere else. Now you're far away, I might miss you. You've got to ask yourself, do I feel lucky? Well, do you? And the fox wasn't feeling lucky. He ran away. And then he said to the gingerbread man, after he managed to eventually get his pistol back in his belt, now, Mr. Gingerbread Man, you've got a decision to make. Do you want to stay on land? It's not going so well by the looks of it. Or would you like to come with us? And the gingerbread man looked where the fox had just gone. And he looked over at the pirate and he jumped onto the boat. And off they went again. They were going, row, row, row your boat. Not Patch Peg or the gingerbread man, just the sailors. And eventually they came to an old derelict cottage. It was tumbled down, had a garden. In the garden was an apple tree, a mulberry bush. And they pulled in onto the shingle beach and they went over, and the gingerbread man said, "What are you doing?" Because he was nosy. Patch Peg said, "Don't tell no one, but we're burying a treasure." They very carefully dug up the mulberry bush and put it to one side. Then they dug a big hole and they put the big chest, it's over there, they put the big chest of treasure into the hole and they buried it. And they put the mulberry bush back so it wouldn't show. And then they went off back in the boat and they were rowing away again. Shall we do the song? Go on, why not? They row, row, row your boat back down to the Zanzibar. Oh, a different version. And they rowed the boat down the stream and they came to the bay, and there in the bay was the good ship Zanzibar. And Patch Peg said to the gingerbread man, "Do you know what I'm thinking? We're a bit light on our crew. We've had some crew cuts lately. Maybe there'd be a job for you. I can ask Captain Roberts. He's a very fair man." So they rowed across to the ship and they climbed up the rope ladder onto the deck and they helped the gingerbread man up because, look, how can he climb a rope ladder? Not a chance. And Patch said, "Captain Roberts, I got a man here would like to join the crew." And the captain looked at him. And the gingerbread man looked back at the captain, and the captain said, "Not very big, is he?" And Patch Peg said, "No, he is small, but he is fierce." And the captain said, "Well, what can he do?" And Patch Peg said, "I'm not sure, but I think he'd be a good addition to the crew." And the captain said, "Well, I'm going to give him a chance. He can become the ship's cook. He can prepare supper for us. I'll tell you what, if he can't make supper, he'll make pudding." Oh, what happened was, they said to the gingerbread man, "What do you think of that?" And the gingerbread man said, "I'll try as hard as I can. It should be good. I'm the gingerbread man." He didn't lack self-confidence. And so he made them a supper, and he took some old mutton bones, and a bit of beef, and he boiled it and boiled it and boiled it, and he made a beautiful stew. And I tell you what, they all reckoned it was the best stew they'd ever had. And the gingerbread man stayed as cook on the Zanzibar for many, many years. And that's my story. Thank you.
Mike, your story about the ginger man was not half baked, but it did take the cake.
Yes, I think you're right. It was okay, wasn't it?
Oh, it was beyond okay. It was different. I like the different spins. Thank you, sir.
Different every time. Has anyone noticed that Jasmine's got a pirate hat on as well now? There's so many people with pirate hats.
Oops.
I'm going to get rid of mine now because I'm really hot under it. Cath, over to you. Sorry, man.
Thank you very much, Mike. We've had some great stories from Captain Shane and Captain Mike. And looking around this screen, I can see we're not short of pirates. Of course, Captain Shane and Captain Mike are pirates, but Louis is a pirate as well. I can see his pirate hat. We've got Joe with a pirate hat. We've got Jasna May with a pirate hat and a patch. We've got Baba C with a patch. Although, yeah, it suits you that way, Baba C. Wear it that way. And on Dominic's iPad, we've got somebody who I'm sure would be very piratey if we got to know her. Well, I'm going to tell you another piratey story. And this story is about a ship, a pirate ship. And the captain of the ship was Pirate Rosie. And Pirate Rosie had a fine crew of lads and lasses. And when the fine crew, when they were doing their work on board ship, whether they were swabbing the decks or whether they were hauling on the ropes to haul up the sails or let them down again, well, sometimes, you know, as lads and lasses do, put your hand up if you ever get tired. Do you ever get tired? Yeah. All the grown-ups, yeah, I can see that. Most of us, we get tired sometimes, don't we? Sometimes Captain Rosie's crew, her lads and lasses, they would get tired. And if they'd be halfway through pulling up one of the sails and they said, oh, Captain Rosie, we're tired, she'd say, come on, lads and lasses, give it your best shot. I'm going to say that again. Come on, lads and lasses, give it your best shot. Everybody join in with that. Are you ready? Here we go. Come on, lads and lasses, give it your best shot. And then maybe when Captain Rosie, she was at that big wheel steering the ship, and maybe it was getting on for bedtime and Captain Rosie was getting a bit tired, the crew would say to her, can anybody guess what they said to Captain Rosie? Go on, Babassi, what did they say to Captain Rosie?
Come on, lads and lassies, give it your best shot.
Babassi, that is so nearly right. They would say, come on, Captain Rosie, give it your best shot. Let's all say that. Here we go.
Me
Come
missed
on,
it again.
Captain Rosie, give it your best shot. Well, just like Captain Mike, I'm getting a bit hot in my piratey hat. I'm going to take it off. One of the things they liked, this crew liked, was finding treasure. They would sail to an island. They'd jump off the ship with their spades in their hand, pretend you've got your spade in your hand. They'd go onto the island and they dig, pretend you're digging, and they dig, and they dig, and they dig. Sometimes they didn't find anything, but sometimes they would find a wooden box. And they'd open up the wooden box, and inside the wooden box, there would be necklaces and jewels and gold. Gold like this. And they take it back to their ship. Friday nights, they used to love to have fish and chips for their tea. This particular day, it was a Friday night. They were all sitting round the table waiting for the cook to bring in their fish and chips. When they heard footsteps on the deck above them, because they were down in the hold, sitting round the table. There were footsteps. The hatch was flung open and there were footsteps coming down the steps. It was Blackbeard and his pirates, and they were all holding their swords. Pretend you're Blackbeard holding a sword. And he waved his sword like this in a very threatening way. And he said, right, you haven't got your swords, you've just got knives and forks. We've got swords, so you've got to do what we say. Well, what would you do? Captain Blackbeard and his pirates have all got swords. You've got nothing. What do you do? Well, they had to go up the steps and onto the deck. And then Captain Blackbeard made them walk across off their ship onto his ship. And he stood on the deck of his ship. And he had Captain Rosie and all her lads and lasses all lined up on the deck of the ship. And he made them stand with their back against the railing, so they had their back to the sea. And he said, we've got swords, you haven't. We're going to push you into the sea and we're going to take your ship. Captain Rosie said, well, that's not fair. We haven't done anything to you. Captain Blackbeard said, yeah, but I'm a nasty pirate and I'm going to do it anyway. I tell you what I will do, though. I'll give you 3 chances. If you can fill this ship with whatever, then I might think about letting you go. One of Captain Rosie's lads and lasses stepped forward and said, I'd like to volunteer to try and fill the ship. Captain Blackbeard said, right, we're going to sail to the harbour. You can go to the town. You can take this gold coin, buy something with it to fill the ship. Now, if that was you and you had to go into the town with a gold coin and buy something to fill the ship, can you think of something you could buy to fill a whole ship. Anybody got any ideas? What would you do?
Feathers.
Thank you, Baba C. So this pirate, he took the gold coin, and of course he didn't run off because he wanted to come back and save all his friends, all the lads and lasses and Captain Rosie. He took his gold coin. He went into the town. He found a shop where they made pillows. He said, "How many feathers can I have for this gold coin?" And they gave him 3 sacks full of feathers. He went back to Captain Blackbeard's ship. He said, "I've got all these feathers. Just let me go round and I'll fill the ship." And he went round the ship. He went into the captain's cabin and he threw feathers. Pretend you're throwing feathers up in the air. He threw feathers all around the captain's cabin. He went below decks to where the sailors had their hammocks where they slept. He threw feathers and he threw feathers. He went further down into the hold where they kept their treasure. He threw feathers and he threw feathers. Captain Blackbeard said, "Right, I'm going to go and look, and I'm going to see if you've really filled this ship." Well, the first room he went into, that was his own cabin. And of course, that was the first place the pirate had been. And the feathers had started to settle down. So there was a thick layer of feathers on the floor, but the cabin was not full of feathers. Captain Blackbeard said, "That was your first chance and you failed. The ship is not full of feathers." Then one of the lasses stepped forward. She said, "I'd like to have a go. I'd like to try and fill the ship with something." So Captain Blackbeard gave her a gold coin and she went off the ship and she went into the town. Can anybody guess what she went to buy? What do you think she might buy to fill the ship?
Bags of peas.
What a good answer, Shane. But that wasn't the answer that was in my head. So I'll pretend you... Well said, Shane. Candles. Absolutely. Yes, she went to a candle shop and she bought for a gold coin. You can get lots of candles. And she wasn't silly. She got a box of matches as well. She went all round the ship. She put a candle in the captain's cabin with her match. Pretend you're lighting a candle with your match. She lit the candle. She went below decks to where the crew slept. She put candles all around. She struck a match and she lit all the candles. Pretend you're lighting the candles. She went even further down to the hold where they keep the treasure. She lit all the candles. Then she came back up and she said to Blackbeard, "There, I've done it. The whole ship is filled with candlelight and peas." And he said, "Well, I don't like peas because I don't eat vegetables. So I'm going to see if you really have filled the whole ship with candlelight." He went into his cabin and sure enough, the cabin was filled with candlelight because the candle was still burning. But do you know what he did? He went to a cupboard and he opened the cupboard and he put his head inside. He said, "It's dark in the cupboard, so you haven't done it. You haven't filled the whole ship with candlelight because inside my cupboard, it's dark." Right. You lot, you've got one chance left. Otherwise, I'm going to get my crew to push you all into the sea and I'm going to take your ship. Well, Captain Rosie stepped forward and she said, "Perhaps I'd better have a try." Captain Blackbeard said, "Well, all right, if you think you can do it, here's 1 penny. She said, "Wait a minute, the other ones, they had a gold coin. Why are you just giving me 1 penny?" "Because I'm the captain and because I've got a sword and because I can. So, are you going or not?" So poor Captain Rosie, I mean, what can you buy with 1 penny? Any idea? Jasmine and May, you're shaking your head. Shane's shaking his head. Baba's shaking his head. Well, poor Rosie, she wandered through the town. She looked in all the shop windows, but everything was too expensive. And then the last shop she came to, just a kind of a junk shop. There were old broken clocks and bits of old furniture in the window. But she saw one little, it was kind of a pipe thing she saw in the window. And she went inside and she said, that little pipe thing, how much is that? And the man said, oh, that's a penny whistle. That costs a penny. She said, oh, that's great. A penny whistle. I've got a penny. So she gave him his penny and he gave her the penny whistle and she took it back to the ship. She said, look, lads and lasses, I've got a whistle. Look, Captain Blackbeard, I've got a whistle. Let me try to fill the ship. Well, truth be told, it was actually a very, very long time since Captain Rosie had played a whistle of any description, penny or otherwise. And she took a breath and she went, oh, that's no good. And do you think she should try again? She should. All right. She tried again. She went. She couldn't seem to do it. What do you think the crew said to her? Anybody know what the crew said to her? Oh, I think Dominic's iPad might be about to tell us. Do you think they said, come on, Captain Rosie, just give up? Do you think they said that? They did not. Anybody want to tell me what they said? They said, come on, Captain Rosie, give it your best shot. Join in.
Come on, Captain Rosie, give it your best shot. Arg.
Absolutely. So she did. All right, I'll try again. Well, as Captain Rosie was playing the tune, Captain Blackbeard went all round the ship. He went into his cabin. He went below decks where the crew slept. He went further down where they kept the treasure. And he came back up. And then he opened the cupboard and he put his head inside the cupboard. Even inside the cupboard, he could hear Captain Rosie playing. Oh, he said, you filled the ship with music. I'm getting a lot of background noise. I think somebody might need to mute. He said, you filled the ship with music. And do you know what we're going to do? We're going to push you over the side into the sea and we're going to take your ship. Captain Rosie said, that is not fair. Because, well, I took a penny and I filled the ship. I did what you said, so that's not fair. And Captain Blackbeard said, well, it might not be fair, but I've got a sword and all my crew, they've got swords and you haven't got swords. So I'm going to make you swim in the sea and probably drown just because I can, and I'm going to take your ship. What do you think? Put your hand up if you think that's fair. Put your hand up if you think it's not fair. Absolutely. But what could they do? What could they do? He was right. They had no swords, and Captain Blackbeard and his crew, they had all the swords. So Captain Blackbeard, with his sword in his hand, he turned to his crew and he said, right, go on then, push them all in the sea. And then a strange thing happened. Captain Blackbeard's crew, they all got together and they started muttering. And then they started whispering in the ear of Captain Blackbeard's first mate. And then Captain Blackbeard's first mate came up to him and he said, as a matter of fact, we think that's very mean. And we think that if a pirate gives his word, he should keep his word. So we don't want to be your pirates anymore. We don't want to sail with you anymore. We want to go and join Captain Rosie's crew. And you know what they did? With their swords, they made Captain Blackbeard get into a little rowing boat and they made him row away. And that's the third lot of rowing we've had this afternoon. So Captain Blackbeard, he rowed away, and I don't really know what happened to him, but they never saw him again. And they all went on to Captain Rosie's ship, and they all joined Captain Rosie's crew, and they all pirated happily ever after. Thank you very much, everybody. And just one story to finish off with. Would you like one more piratey story? Excellent. This story is about a brother and a sister, and this brother and a sister, they loved everything piratey. They loved pirate books, they loved pirate films, they loved anything piratey on the television. They liked dressing up as pirates, everything piratey. And then one day they thought, well, we'd better go and be pirates then. Now, I know you wouldn't do this, and they're only doing it because they're in a story, but they went off and they walked and they walked and they walked and they walked until they came to the sea. Until they came to the sea, and they saw a ship, and the ship had tall masts, and on the tall masts were black sails, and on the top of the tall mast there was a flag. Can anybody tell me what was on the flag that was at the top of the tall mast? That's right, Mike. It was a skull and crossbones, because it was a pirate ship. Now, there was what you call a gangplank, which was a plank leading from the deck of the ship onto the harbour side. So the girl and the boy, the brother and the sister, they walked along the plank onto the ship, and they looked around. Ah, we're on a real pirate ship. And then this tall man stepped out of the cabin and he said, what are you doing on my ship? And they said, we didn't mean any harm. It's just that we really, really want to be pirates. We were thinking, could we come and join your ship, and we'll try and do some work to help you, and perhaps you could teach us to be pirates. And he said, are you any good at swabbing decks? Put your hand up if you know what swabbing decks is. Oh, Captain Shane does, Captain Baba knows, Captain Mike, Captain Louis knows. Who's going to tell me what? Oh, and Captain John knows as well. Who's going to tell me what swabbing decks is? Go on then, Louis, tell me what it is. What do you do if you swab the decks?
Swabbing the decks.
Swabbing the decks, that's right. You get a mop, you put it in your bucket and you slosh it backwards and forwards to make the decks nice and clean. And they said, oh, we could do that. We would do that to help you. Yes, we don't mind doing that. And then he said, are you any good at peeling potatoes? Because we like to have chips on a Friday night. And the girl and the boy, well, they looked at each other and they said, put your hand up if you're any good at peeling potatoes. Oh, Dominic's iPad doesn't like peeling potatoes. Okay, most of us are good at peeling potatoes. If you were on a pirate ship, would you peel potatoes in exchange for being taught how to be a pirate? Give me a thumbs up if you would. Absolutely. And they said, yeah, we are quite good at peeling potatoes. We wouldn't mind. Kanisha doesn't want to peel potatoes. Oh, no. We wouldn't mind peeling potatoes so that we could learn to be pirates. And so they agreed. They would come on board the pirate ship and they'd learn to be pirates. Well, they hauled up the anchor and off they went. the captain and all his crew and the brother and the sister. Well, that night, all the crew, they came up on deck and they all sat looking at the sky. And the brother and the sister said, "What are you doing?" And the captain said, "Oh, it's our favourite thing. We love thunderstorms. When it's hot and then it gets cloudy and it looks like there's going to be a thunderstorm, we all sit on the deck so we can watch the thunder, and the thunder rumbles and the lightning cracks down and we love it." Oh dear. Well, the brother and the sister, they looked at each other. There's one thing they didn't like, and it was thunderstorms. Put your hand up if you like thunderstorms. Most of you. Put your hand up if you don't like thunderstorms. Oh, a few of you don't like thunderstorms. Well, this brother and sister, they were the same. And the captain said, "Well, never mind. If we get a storm, you can go into my cabin and you can shut the door and it won't be so loud. Now, in my cabin, there are 3 shelves. There's one in front of you. There's one on this side. There's one on this side. The one on this side has got books. You can look at the books. The one on this side has got books. You can look at the books. The one in front of you has got a box on it. You must not look in the box." They said, "No, no, we won't." Well, the thunder started, so they went inside the captain's cabin and they closed the door. But I've already told you they liked everything piratey. So they looked at the books on this side. They'd read them all. They looked at the books on this side. They'd read them all. They started to look at the box. Put your hand up if you would pick up the box. Oh, Shane, very badly behaved, I'm afraid. And Captain Mike, John's not sure. Kanisha would. Ah, oh, Kanisha, what are you like? Well, they did. They picked it up. They said, "We only said we wouldn't open it. We didn't say we wouldn't pick it up." And they saw it had a little key in the lock. Now put your hand up if you would turn the key in the lock. Who? Captain Shane would. Captain Kanisha would. Captain John definitely would. No, Eliza wouldn't. Mike Facherty has got a, Captain Mike has got a treasure box. They did. They turned the key. They said, "We only said we didn't open it. We didn't say that we wouldn't turn the key." They turned the key. Well, nothing happened. And then the boy, he got his thumbnail just under the edge of the lid. He thought, "I'll just ease it up a little bit. It's not really opening it. It's just kind of just moving it slightly." And he started to move the lid slightly. Bang! The lid flew off, and out of the box, plume upon plume upon plume of smoke, plume of smoke came out of the box and out of the box and out of the box until the whole cabin was filled with smoke. And then the smoke began to gather together and gather together and gather together until it formed a huge man. He had a black hat. He had long, straggly black hair. He had a black beard. He had a black coat. He had a black sword in his black belt. He had black sea boots on and black trousers. Can anybody guess what his name was? Kanisha,
Blackie.
go on.
Black. Okay, I think somebody. Okay,
Go,
I
go on,
think it's
Kanisha.
Blackbeard.
You are right, it is Captain Blackbeard. And he drew his sword. He said, "Who let me out of that box? I'm going to kill you." And the children said, "Well, that's not very fair. We let you out of the box." He said, "That I've been in there 300 years and I'm fed up. And I made up my mind, whoever let me out, I'd kill them because I'm so angry." Put your hand up if you think that's fair. It's not, is it? Captain Blackbeard, even after 300 years, he's still being unfair. Now, the thing is this. The cabin had a little window, but it wasn't nearly big enough to get out of. The cabin had a door, but Captain Blackbeard was standing with his back against the door, and he had a sword in his hand, And he said he was going to kill the brother and the sister. So have a little think. What would you do if that was you? Do you think you'd be able to escape? What would you do? Captain Mike has got an answer.
Might not be right, but I'd give it my best shot.
Captain Mike would give it his best shot, and that is a very good thing to do, Captain Mike. They thought, well, can we fight him? No, we can't. We got no weapons anyway. He's bigger than us and he's a pirate. Can we dive between his legs through the door? No, we can't, because he'd catch us before we got out. What are we going to do? And he was just raising his sword so that he could swipe their heads off in one go. Sorry, Baba C. Didn't mean to knock your head off there. And the girl said, as a matter of fact, I don't mind being killed, but I do mind being killed by a liar. And Captain Blackbeard said, how dare you impugn my honour? I am not a liar. She said, you are. He said, I'm not. She said, you are. He said, I'm not. She said, ah. He said, not. She said, ah. He said, what do you mean I'm a liar? She said, you told us you'd been in that little box for 300 years. Well, look at the size of the box and look at the size of you. How could you possibly have been in that box? He said, right, well, I'm going to prove it then. And then when I've proved it, I'm going to kill you. So Captain Blackbeard, he dissolved into plume after plume after plume of smoke until the cabin was all filled with smoke. And then the smoke went into the box and into the box and into the box and into the box and into the box until all the smoke was in the box. And they slammed on the lid and they turned the key and they put the box back on the shelf. And by that time, the thunderstorm was over. And the captain of this ship, not Captain Blackbeard, but the captain of this ship, he came and he said, are you all right now? Everything all right? And they said, yes, Captain. Now, do you think the next time the captain gave them an order, do you think they did as they were told or not? Put your hand up if you think they didn't do as they were told. Oh, Captain John thinks they didn't do as they were told. Put your hand up if you think they did do what they were told. I think they probably did. Eliza's not sure. Some of you not sure. Well, thank you very much, everybody. See, we don't know. We'd need another story to know if they did as they were told or not. Thanks very much, everybody. That's the last of our pirate stories.
Well, that was amazing, Cath. Captain Cath and Captain Shane and Captain Mike. So we'll do a big ho, ho, ho to finish. Can we have a big ho, ho, ho from everybody?
Ho,
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 ho, ho,
ho. Brilliant, brilliant. And I've got to say what's coming up. 10 o'clock UK time, that's 10 o'clock British Summer Time. Tomorrow morning is our Australian and Asian tellers. I know Jasname is coming to tell a story. Anyone on that subcontinent or across that side of the world is welcome to come and tell a story. Tuesday is our really important day. 5 o'clock is, and I know there was someone who was asking to tell a story. 5 o'clock UK time is our under 18 tellers, and they are magnificent. And anyone 18 years or under is welcome to come and tell a story. And that, I know Baba C and Phil and sometimes Cass, when she can get there, are really excited when we listen to our Tuesday tellers. And then on Friday we go through. On Friday we've got a real treat next Friday. I don't know, probably not as real a treat as tonight, because tonight was the ultimate treat. But you know, you can't beat pirate stories, especially from three fine pirates like we've had tonight. But next Friday, Chip Colquhoun is coming on, and he's launching a crowdfunder for his new storytelling book for children. So he's coming on, and so that's next Friday at this time. Meanwhile, thank you very much. Thank you, Baba C, for coming. Thank you, Joe. So I can't see everyone. I know Paul was here. And whoever else was here, but I'm on my little phone. I can't see what it is. And thank you, Ali, for providing. Well, I think you wasn't.
Thank you, John. Thank you, everyone.
We weren't on a magic carpet. We were on a pirate ship, and Captain Ali was steering the pirate ship. So thank you, Ali.
Hey, John, do we have this Sunday off?
No, Sunday, which that's well reminded, Baba. See, I knew there was something I'd forgotten, because Sunday, it's really special because we go to Ireland on Sunday. All McGovern has got all the crowd from Moth and Butterfly doing Rock the Casbah, which is the fundraiser for the festival, and it's all coming from Ireland, and that's 6 o'clock Sunday. Thank you, Baba C, for being my memory cell. We share it.
Well, I didn't want us to have a row about it, but
well, thank you very much. Good night, everybody, or good afternoon.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Elisa. Thank you,
it's time to be
Thank
continued.
you,
Enjoyed all of you.
Bye-bye.
Wow.
Bye-bye.
Please, Parrot.
Vas, you lovers. Everybody take care. See some of you tomorrow morning.
Bye, like Louis. I like the sword and the parrot.
Yeah. Quite a collection
Like
there.
Louis, so cool. All of
Nice
them.
to see
all
you,
the
Elisa.
princesses
Nice
and
to see you,
princes.
Kanisha.
Bye-bye, everyone.